do another alternative parenting style thing that we do, which a lot of people might not agree with, which is co-sleeping. And there's a lot of people that say that co-sleeping ruins your sex life. And to that, I say, then why do I keep having kids every 18 months?
I do have to say that our friends who have the most kids are the co-sleeping families.
Because they're getting busy in other areas. Like, don't just have sex in your bedroom. That's so boring. Like, you're only having sex at night in your bed. That's like my least favorite time and place for sex, right?
I can't speak for you, but, but yeah.
You could chime in your own ideas.
But yeah, I think a lot of parents of our generation are very focused on themselves, and they feel like it hurts their sleep. I think it's less about
Sleep?
the sex. Yes, that they feel like they sleep poorly if their kids are in the bed, and they need their sleep to be functioning parents, and therefore they have to have the kids sleep in another room,
That's fair.
bothering them. I think that's the main point.
I don't know. All the comments that I see on social media are all about, and all those videos of husbands that are like, we do not let the kid co-sleep because our marriage is more important, and I'm a big baby.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Pros and cons of co-sleeping,
Yeah.
and why we
do it.
co-sleep.
I'm Taro.
I'm Cora.
I'm from Finland.
I'm from America. No, the opposite. We have 3 kids, and we have had different experiences with sleep with each one. So
All of it bad.
yeah, good, bad, and the ugly. Maybe sleep history. On our first one, never really slept in a crib. Maybe 2 nights.
Never. Yeah, we never had a crib.
And
I stand by that, actually.
went straight to bed. Was not the best sleeper, or like sleeps well, but bedtimes were a fight.
It was, yeah.
And there might be other reasons that are not co-sleep related, like he was underfed at one point.
Accidentally.
He was hungry. He ate a lot and we didn't realize. But then when he got more dinner, then he slept better. So there can be other reasons why people don't sleep
And
well.
I think we co-slept with him from the beginning till what age?
Yeah, he obviously on and off, but like he would at least go to bed with us or co-sleep with us pretty much his whole life, which is he's now 5. Sometimes we would sneak out of the room and then come back and stuff like that. The middle one had a crib and was pretty religious with it in the first year, and after that he's been the biggest co-sleeper, versus the oldest can kind of sleep by himself at times and sometimes puts himself to bed.
Yeah.
He just wants to be alone and not bothered. But then the middle one always wants to be with someone and freaks out at night a lot if somebody's not in the room.
Although I feel like that's developmental, because they say if you co-sleep with a child, they know that you're there. They have this really strong sense of security. And so obviously kids don't sleep with you forever. Some parents have this thing of like, if I let him in my bedroom, then he'll never leave. It's like, what 10-year-old is still sleeping? Probably not a lot, sleeping with their parent, and then cut to like what 18-year-old is still sleeping with their parent. There's no chance. So kids will find their own room if you leave it to fate.
Yeah.
And which we now see he's doing. He will put himself to bed.
Yeah. The middle one has been a better sleeper, not a great sleeper, but much better sleeper than the oldest. But definitely wants to be with other people.
Yeah, he wakes up at night and calls out for you, which is very typical of a 3-year-old. And then he just wants to hear that you're there. And then he goes right back to bed. So easy. I will just say, I'm right here. And I touch his body. And then he goes straight back to bed.
Correct. And he has a lot of nervous energy, which I'm sure we'll talk more later. And then the youngest is an amazing sleeper, but definitely likes to be cuddled to bed. And in early mornings, if he wakes up, is scared if there's nobody there. And then, but we'll go right back to bed if you go to the room with him. So
that's another good point, is I have always breastfed my babies to bed, and some people say that if you do that, they'll like never be good at self-soothing, or they'll never learn to go to bed on their own, which is so untrue. And there's this theory that kids need to learn to self-soothe, which science has like proven that that's not really a thing at a young age. Like they need you to soothe. Like you were a part of them as their mom, and they still feel that, especially for like the first 9 months. They don't realize they're outside of your body. And so to like have this theory of self-soothing is ridiculous. Not science-based at all.
So we're obviously pro co-sleep, but what if you would argue the opposite? What would be the reasons or situations where co-sleeping does not make sense?
Well, for us, one of the reasons we did it is because we sleep better and longer if they're in bed with us. Because otherwise, we were getting up and going to their room, disrupting our own sleep. So we realized we get way more sleep when we're with them,
The
right?
opposite. What would
I know that. I'm getting to that. So I'm saying if you aren't getting more sleep by co-sleeping, then I would say yes. I mean, the goal is for everyone to be sleeping well. So if you don't sleep well with a child in your bed, then I could totally see co-sleeping is not for you. If you can't function the next day on little sleep, which I am like a pro at, I didn't sleep at all last night and look at me go, then you would want to do that.
Yes, I would say most likely in the month 6 to 12 or something like that could be a time where, especially co-sleeping with the mom, can be counterproductive. Even when they're younger, you might want to take turns because I do think it's a real thing where they smell the milk
Yes.
and then they nibble a little bit, where I think it would be better for them to have a full stomach less times versus like every hour on the hour
Yes.
be nursing. So I think there's a point when it doesn't mean that you will not nurse them to bed or they can't have the boob and you got to wean them off. But the point is like not to be constantly snacking. It's like food anyway. You want them to have a real meal a few times a day versus constantly grazing. And I think getting away from the constantly grazing. And I don't think there's a problem if they co-sleep with the dad, but if they co-sleep with the mom, I think that can be an issue. And we had that experience where they would sleep so much better with me than with the mom. And also I think evolutionary, the mom's nervous system is a little more sensitive, where the dad will snore away and not
Yeah.
wake up to every sound
That's a
and
good
turn, but versus the mom will freak out and then their nervous system is fried. So I would say if a slight noise or sound makes the mom freak out and therefore not sleep for the next 2 hours because you're scared.
I don't think freak out is the word. I think you're not. I
Okay.
think it's like evolutionarily your brain is rewired and any little sound you are wired to respond to. And so you wake up. You're not freaked out, but you're awake. So that is true. We had Taro sleep with a baby after like 2 months until a year because the smell of milk was disrupting to him and his little grunts were disrupting to me.
Yeah. But I think it's a phase, and depending on the kid when that is, it's not when they're newborn, but before they're a toddler. Once they're a toddler, they probably like it doesn't matter anymore. Even if they're breastfeeding, they're like okay not having a meal every hour.
An interesting thing that I read on Instagram, who knows if it's true, but there was a study where they followed a kid or they followed co-sleeping children for 20 years to see if it was true that they would become more clingy and dependent. And the opposite was actually true. It helped strengthen their amygdala, which helped with their cognitive resilience so they could like respond better to stress because they had this really well-defined built-in emotional intelligence and safety net.
Yeah. I think particularly the first 6 years of the life seems like the universal wisdom is that kids need to feel safe. And that's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or is it same as the Montessori and same as many other methods, is like early on they need a lot of safety. And then middle of the night in a dark room, they wake up out of a good or bad dream and there's nobody there. It can be scary. So if they're cortisol stress responses have kept low, they can handle adversity better later on.
Yeah, if
And
you're
they're
not,
more cognitively more adapted.
yeah, because if you're not in fight or flight response, you can use the other parts of your brain better.
Yeah. The other thing is personal experiences. I like cuddling with them. Both going to bed, it helps with my nervous system, and then at night too. Now, do I like getting punched in the face or kicked in the nuts? No. But you can put a pillow in between. Like you don't need to be like skin to skin with them all night. Actually, I usually cuddle them to bed. Then I like move around, turn around, or put a pillow in between or a blanket where like adults do that as well. But you have like a little
Moro reflex.
twitch. Yeah. And if they're in the right height, usually that ends up being a kick in the nuts. And that's not nice. But you can protect against that versus when they wake up and they ask for your name, you can just like touch a little bit, turn
Yeah.
around, and they're calmed down.
We figure it out, and we divide and conquer. We each sleep with one.
Okay. Another pro, a dad pro, is that
Mm-hmm.
you can pay a smaller house. If you co-sleep, you need less bedrooms, which means a smaller mortgage or less rent. And if you're traveling, you can put everybody in one hotel room
Love it.
and versus paying for two
Yeah.
and a smaller
the beds
Airbnb.
together.
It's very European or Japanese or
Yeah.
Cantonese, where everybody
Gypsy?
live in a little bubble, and you can save in money. You don't need a bed. You can just put mattresses on the floor.
Totally. Don't buy a crib. That's what we're saying.
All jokes aside, I think it's for the best of the child, but I think there are positives for the parents as well.
And if you cannot sleep and you don't like co-sleeping, we're not here to shame. This is not for shaming. It's just we hear a lot of people say, how do you co-sleep, or how do you make that work, and what about this and what about that?
And the other thing is why we do it is if you don't do it when the kids are older, they will usually come to your bed anyway, middle of the night. And to me, that's more disruptive versus if they're in the bed. That's my opinion. But like, I'd rather be in the same bed already with them versus like at midnight, they just show up and slam the door.
Oh my gosh, so spooky. If you could just show us up in the middle of the night.
And it's usually not that quiet. Like they slam the doors and things are moving. So it's like smoother to just be in the same bed. Now, I would say it is a little better if you do have 2 bedrooms than one, because there are times when one child is sick or somebody hasn't slept. So having 2 co-sleeping is better than 1 co-sleeping, assuming you have multiple kids. If it's all one bed all the time and they're different ages and some sleep in, some don't, some are slight sleepers, some are heavy sleepers, it can make it harder. Like one of our kids really likes to sleep in and the 2 others are up early, and it is a little easier if you let the oldest who wants to sleep in.
Have his own room.
Yeah, and same with the mom wants to
the
sleep
mom
in.
wants to sleep a lot. Yeah.
So-
do you have any tips? We had a couple people ask, like, how do you keep your sex life alive when you're co-sleeping?
Yeah, what do you say to that?
I say don't go to a co-sleeper's house and touch the furniture. Don't bring a black light to our kitchen table.
Yes.
Don't eat off the table. No. There's a couple really good hacks. Kids love being in the shower. You can just put the shower on. They're safe in there. Put some toys in there. Easily you get 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, and you only
What do you
need
need?
30 seconds.
What do you
What do you
need?
need?
A bath if they're old enough and like you can
Yeah,
trust them.
bath is a little
alone.
riskier than the shower depending on the age,
Yeah,
but
maybe
if they're
depending on the
older.
age. Yeah. TV show, though we don't do TV, but in a pinch.
Yes.
What other things can you do in 30 seconds?
Yeah, that's go to the library and get some new books.
Yes.
Um,
You can make it work. Then it keeps it fun and spicy.
yeah, I think the bigger thing is the sleep quality, is like figuring out a way to sleep. And I have to say, increasingly more and more couples we know, with or without kids, sleep in separate beds because of temperature differences. Women like the room to be warmer and the men colder, and or
So
morning person versus evening person. So there's even a world where, like, if you have multiple kids, that's the beneficial part of co-sleeping too. Is like,
I love it. I don't have to sleep with you because he turns over every second. It's so weird.
I sleep great. I have
I know,
no
nobody
complaints.
else around you does.
Yeah. The kids do.
Yeah.
They turn around too. Anyway, that was our experience. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any thoughts about topics we should cover, let us know. But otherwise, like and share and comment and subscribe so more people can see the show. And if you disagree with something, feel free to leave it below as well. We're not going to be upset. This show was brought to you by Four Sigmatic, who sponsors us.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Who owns that company?
I do, but it was not my choice to have them sponsored, but it was a great win-win-win because I do love them. Like a lot of people who have their companies or their CEO of a company, they don't actually like the products. I do. I made the products. So I made them for myself and other people love them too. This is the original mushroom coffee. Mushroom coffee is now apparently a $2 billion category. This was the product that started it all. This is the upgraded version of the product that started it all. And mushroom coffee is great. You have delicious cup of organic coffee without the jitters, often have caffeine like this, and then you get the health benefits of different mushrooms. Here there's also probiotics, prebiotics, and vitamin B12. So other good stuff to keep you energized and mental clarity as a parent and not get sick and have good gut health and stuff.
Yeah. And so if a kid kicked you in the balls last night, you could have a cup of
Yes.
calf.
Yes, I'm early in the morning. It's the joy of my life.
He's already had 2 cups of coffee by the time I wake up.
Well, that can be also 2 hours after I've woken up. So if you're interested, there's a special deal for Fungi Fam followers. There's a link in our description and below. You get a free cup of coffee, just pay shipping. And you can also get it at places like Costco, Target, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Amazon, you name it. Check it out, and there's all kinds of amazing products. So thanks for Sigmatic, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.